Hey everyone, hope you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak and whichever platform you're choosing to play it on. And today we're going to be going over the latest patch notes for the bonus/6th free title update, or version 16.0.0 on the Nintendo Switch, 16.0.0 on Steam. So essentially the latest stuff that you saw in the most recent Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak digital showcase presentation. The patch notes are now currently live. Now, while the patch is currently at the time of this video going live, not live at the moment, we do expect it to go live on July 7th at 8 p.m. here on North America. So maybe if you're watching this video after that, obviously this is currently live in game at this point in time. So starting pretty much right away with the main additions, they mentioned that a new monster has been added and will appear in Gathering Hub Quest. Of course, they are talking about Primordial Malzeno, the flagship monster for this very relatively short free title update. They mentioned that new quests have been added. Now, they're not necessarily referencing the new event quest, which we know there's going to be support up until July 27th, I believe they said. So we're talking about maybe 8 or more event quest weeks that we should be able to have starting next week. But they are actually talking about maybe new hazards or maybe new quests being added in for the base version of this update. So we're going to have to wait and see just exactly what those quests are. They mentioned that there's a new wide variety of monsters that now appear on anomaly investigations. Now, I don't necessarily know what that actually means because they're not very, upfront about these kind of things. But one of the things that we spoke about before is that maybe no new monsters are going to be added to anomaly investigations. And originally, it didn't necessarily seem to be the case until we take a closer look at the patch notes and they're adding more. So pretty much Elder Dragons were already available there. Risen Elders are, of course, already available there. Violet Michitsune, Lucid Nargacuga, maybe things that only ever appeared in arenas are now going to be appearing in just normal quests, but a lot of people are doing anomaly investigation arena quests only. And one of the patch notes specifically mentioned, which we're going to get to later, but I did want to make it a mention at the top of the video, you can now have 3 monsters appearing in arena quests in anomaly investigations as well. So that's a really nice addition, but I'm interested to see just what they mean. I can't imagine it would mean Ibushi or Narwa appearing in the arenas, or even Amatsu for that matter. That would be really funny to see. They mentioned that new weapons, armors, layered equipment, and skills have been added to the game. Of course, they're referencing the Primordial Malzeno armor set with the new weapons. New skill being added to it and all of that. New skills have been added to the pool of potential skills available during Curious Armor crafting. Now, I've been talking about this pretty much since the leaks video, and I spoke about it in my little bit of a recap reaction video to the presentation itself. Every single skill that's available in the game, even from unique armor skills other than Amatsu's and Primordial Malzeno's skill, will become available through either Curious Crafting, Talismans, or melding options. So, just keep that in mind going forward. Talismans, decos or Curious Crafting will be able to have all of those skills other than those 2 monsters' unique skills. So that's really nice to see. Augmented Slots Plus has been added to Curious Crafting. I spoke about this in my reactions video to the presentation, but it simply means if you're looking for deco slots on whatever Curious Crafting armor piece you're after, this is the option you want. Augmented Slots gives you a chance of maybe +3 deco slots options, maybe even +4 if you get extra lucky. So do keep your eyes peeled for that option. A new skill has been added to the pool of potential skills available during Curious Melding, and they're talking about Vigor. This is a brand new skill that's being added into the game. We don't necessarily know what it does, but if anything has to go by, maybe it has to do with stamina. Previous skills regarding the word Vigor had something to do with stamina. I believe this was a Frontiers available skill. They mentioned a new prize has been added to the Market's Lottery. They're talking about more plushies being added in for your room decorations. That's usually the stuff that they add there. New trinkets have been, hanging scrolls have been added. So of course, more monsters means more scrolls for you to be able to pick up. They also talk about new items have been added to the trade for Anomaly Research Lab. That usually means more mantles or crystals and stuff like that for new monsters that didn't have them before. That's usually what they end up adding in that regard. A new dialogue has been added for major NPCs as Komura Village and Elgata Outpost based on your progress. So once you take down Primordial Malzeno, chances are all the characters are going to be making separate little discussion topics. Moving forward to new systems and elements, they talk about the maximum number of anomaly investigations you can now have is been raised from 150 to 200. This is something the developers teased as part of the bonus update content that was heading, and now it's available. New guild card titles have been added. I know you guys love guild cards, so be excited for that. And a new badge of heroes has been added. So of course you take down Primordial Malzeno, new badge will become available. When it comes to bug fixes and balance adjustments, they mentioned that in the Hunter section, they fixed an issue where the player fainted before performing the gun lance's blast dash and would perform a single blast dash when trying to use shelling after recovery. So, you know, a couple of lancing issues being fixed there. Another one where they register the dragon conversion skill loadout while values exceed the limit. The quality and the effect of the loadout would be different in the actual effect. Dragon conversion is one of those skills that I've not ever messed with because I believe it's an elemental skill and I'm not an elemental gunner. They also mentioned that they fixed the bug causing a bias of frequency at which some players would draw monsters' attention and aggro. Now, this is something that he spoke about, and they mentioned, I believe, through a couple of posts, and they maybe even clarified just after the presentation went live, where aggro has now been properly addressed and corrected, where essentially the monster will turn to a player based on the order in which they join a lobby, which is just insanely random, but something that they took them forever to finally realize, and now it has been fixed. Following to the followers section, they mentioned that they fixed a bug that occasionally causes Luchika to guard against an unblockable monster's attack when she has the gun lance equipped. And of course, Luchika is best girl. They also mentioned that they fixed a bug where Usushi's voice lines would not properly play during the battle with Amatsu. Of course, that only happens the first time. Once you take down Amatsu, you only get the Crimson Glow Valstrax, I believe, fight, the turf war, instead of Amatsu showing up with Apex Sonogur, which is literally a bummer that you don't get to see that cutscene again. They fixed a bug causing followers to perform incorrect evasion behavior if they heal when Amatsu is about to perform a special attack. They fixed a bug for followers getting hit by ice pillars in the spawn at the end of the turf war between Malzeno and Volcana. And lastly, they fixed a bug preventing followers from performing proper dodges if the player places a Gus Crab at the specific spot, which is again extremely specific stuff, but this is why they're getting to it towards the back end of the game. When it comes to monster fixes, they mentioned that they fixed a bug preventing Barriath's landing animation to play properly when he enters the Forlorn Arena. Of course, monsters that usually didn't appear in arenas that now do usually will end up having some sort of weird glitch. Barriath was one of them. They fixed a bug that occasionally prevents Amatsu from roaring at the start of a battle. They fixed a bug occasionally causing Amatsu to start shaking a little when it was down at the end of a battlefield. They fixed a bug preventing the sound effect from being played when breaking parts of Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax's body. They fixed a bug that occasionally prevents the marionette spiders from being displayed in the correct location where the player throws them at Crimson Glow Valstrax. And Risen Shagaru Magala and Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax. So, you know, some clipping issues there for sure. They also mentioned that they fixed a bug that occasionally causes the mountable monsters to attack the hunter if the player rides it during the Amatsu quest, but never attacks Amatsu with it. Moving over to locales and environments, they mentioned that they fixed a bug during the Amatsu quest, occasionally causing the background used where the quest is completed to be displayed after the player changes their equipment in the tent and leaves the tent. A lot of Amatsu fixes, which of course doesn't surprise me since it was a pretty epic fight and it was just recently added in the last patch. They fixed a bug during the Amatsu quest that occasionally causes the cannons placed in the battlefield to keep facing downward if the player accesses while it's reloading, and I've had that issue actually happen to me in the past. They fixed a bug causing the sky to change rapidly if the player moves around the specific elevator platform in Area 13 of the Citadel. And bases and facilities also saw some changes. You can now hold down the L button or R button to scroll through pages of the Smithy's materials selection screen. They fixed an issue that occasionally causes trinkets to be placed in your room and Elgato to face the wrong direction. Lastly, in the miscellaneous section, there's probably the biggest section that they added here in the patch notes. The quest mentions that you can now earn 3 monster quests from anomaly investigations at the Infernal Springs Fortnite Arena after 261. So 3 monsters in the arena is now possible at high level anomaly investigation quests. Chaotic Gormagala may now appear during expeditions and tours. They fixed a bug for the Nintendo Switch preventing completion marks from being displayed when completing special investigations in local co-op lobbies. They fixed a bug preventing side quests from being deliverable until the players has completed specific other quests. They fixed a bug for Amatsu's quest. Even if the player successfully managed to restrain Amatsu with a silk binder shot, the voice line felt shot would be played. They fixed a bug that occasionally causes the on-screen guidance of Atsushi's dialogue disappearance. Players using the Great Wire Bug during the Amatsu fight. Once again, plenty of Amatsu fight bug fixes in this specific patch notes, but it shouldn't come to too much of a surprise. Lastly, in the equipment sections, they mentioned that they fixed bugs regarding the Ominous Cloud lance to be displayed properly. They removed the gun lance and stuff Magnum Auto layered options outside of a tent. They fixed an issue with reloading the sounds of Wicked Needle for the bowgun. Espinas and Flaming Espinas light bowgun appeared unsheathed when sheathed. The hunter's hair being displayed correctly from Bahari's locks and Professor's goggles has been fixed. The head armor for being displayed correctly using the Flying Curls hairstyle has been fixed. In the other section, they mentioned that they fixed bugs causing some NPCs dialogue that doesn't match the player's progress, subtitles to be displayed properly, causing unnatural display to occur whenever you're in the lobby. They fixed issues with some of the names and credits not following the correct order. Various text bugs have been fixed, and other miscellaneous bug fixes have been made. Specifically in the Steam section, they mentioned that 2 extra restrictions have been added for blocked players on the Steam blocked user list. They will not be able to enter the same lobby, and they will not be able to play quests with other players who blocked them, which is of course obvious and should have been there from the get-go. When playing on the Steam Deck and on screen keyboards, you'll automatically be displayed situations where the players can enter the text. The settings can be changed in other sections or options for automatic screen display options. So plenty of minor changes here, but nothing necessarily too major or too revealing, other than, of course, anomaly investigations. 3 monsters plus 261 quests are now available. Primordial Malzeno. A couple of other monsters will appear in anomaly investigation quest. It does make me wonder which monsters they're talking about. Man, imagine Ibushi and Allmother Narwa in those quests. Wow, that would be a lot of fun. But I can't imagine them doing that, since those are very specific fights in very specific arenas. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.